everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. I am Julia, and today we have an exciting topic that will help you improve your English faster and more naturally. Have you ever noticed that sometimes, even when you know English words, it takes a long time to speak? Or maybe you translate everything from your own language before saying it in English? If yes, don't worry, this is very normal for English learners. The good news is that there is a way to solve this problem, and that is learning to think in English. When your brain starts thinking directly in English, your speaking will become faster, more natural, and more confident. You will not have to translate in your mind anymore. In today's episode, I will guide you step by step on how to train your brain to think in English. We will talk about simple techniques, easy exercises, and practical tips that you can start using today. By the end of this podcast, you will understand how to use your daily life, your imagination, and your English practice to make thinking in English a natural habit. So, let's get started and train your brain together. Now, let's start by understanding what it really means to think in English. Many English learners make a common mistake. They try to translate everything from their own language into English. For example, they think a sentence in their language, then slowly translate it word by word into English. This takes time and makes speaking slow and difficult. Thinking in English is different. It means your brain understands and uses English directly without translating. You see a situation, a word, or an idea, and your mind automatically thinks in English. For example, instead of thinking I want to drink water in your language and then translating it, you just think, I want to drink water naturally in English. Why is this important? Because when you think in English, your speaking becomes faster. You feel more confident. You can express your ideas clearly. And most importantly, your English starts to sound natural, just like a native speaker. Today, we will learn some practical ways to train your brain to think in English, even if it feels difficult at first. Remember, it is a process, and with practice, your brain will slowly start thinking in English automatically. Now that we understand what it means to think in English, the next step is to start small. When you begin training your brain, don't try to make long or complicated sentences right away. Start with simple words and short phrases. Your brain needs time to get used to thinking in English. For example, you can start by labeling things around you in English. Look at a table and say to yourself, "This is a table." Look at your cup and say, "This is a cup." These are very simple sentences, but they help your brain connect English words directly to the objects you see. You can also describe your daily actions using simple phrases. For example, I am eating, I am walking, or I am reading. Try to think in English while doing small things. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about training your brain to use English naturally, little by little. Even these small steps will make a big difference over time. Another important step to train your brain to think in English is listening to English every day. Your brain learns a lot by hearing English. When you listen regularly, your brain starts to recognize words, phrases, and sentence structures automatically. Over time, you will start thinking in English without even trying. You don't need to listen for hours. Just a few minutes every day can help a lot. You can listen to English podcasts, songs, YouTube videos, or even movies. The key is to listen actively, not just in the background. Try to understand the meaning of what you hear. Notice how sentences are formed, and repeat some words or phrases if you can. For example, if you hear someone say, "I am going to the market," repeat it in your mind or say it aloud. This helps your brain get used to thinking in English naturally. Remember, the more English you hear, the faster your brain will start thinking in English automatically. Listening every day is like feeding your brain with English. One of the most powerful ways to train your brain to think in English is to speak to yourself. Yes, you heard that right. Talking to yourself in English can help you a lot. You can start by narrating your daily activities. For example, when you are cooking, you can say in English, "I am cutting the vegetables," or "I am boiling water." When you are walking, you can say, "I am walking to the market," or "I am listening to music." You can also plan your day aloud in English. For instance, say, "Today, I will study English, then I will clean my room, and then I will watch a movie." This simple habit trains your brain to use English naturally, without translating from your own language. Remember, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes. The important thing is to practice regularly. The more you speak to yourself, the faster your brain will start thinking in English automatically. Another great technique to train your brain to think in English is to use visualization and imagination. Visualization means creating pictures in your mind. For example, imagine a scene where you are at a cafe. Think about what you see, hear, and do. In your mind, describe it in English. "I am sitting at the table. I am drinking coffee. The waiter is smiling." You can also imagine conversations in English. Think about meeting a friend, asking for directions, or ordering food. Practice these situations in your mind using English sentences. This technique is very powerful because it helps your brain connect English words to images and ideas, instead of always translating from your language. The more you practice visualization, the more naturally your brain will start thinking in English. Try this for a few minutes every day, and you will notice a big improvement in your English thinking and speaking skills. Another important way to train your brain to think in English is to practice while reading and writing. When you read in English, don't just read the words. Try to understand and summarize them in your mind in English. For example, if you read, "The cat is sleeping on the sofa," think in English, "The cat is sleeping. It is very comfortable." This way, your brain starts processing English directly instead of translating. Writing is also very helpful. Start with simple sentences or a short diary. You can write about your day, your plans, or even your thoughts. For example, "Today, I went to the market. I bought apples. I am happy." Writing in English trains your brain to form sentences naturally. By practicing reading and writing every day, you strengthen your English thinking habit. The more you read and write in English, the easier it becomes to think in English automatically. Now let's talk about some mini daily exercises that you can do to train your brain to think in English. These exercises are short, simple, and very effective. First, try narrating your day in English. Even if it is only for 5 minutes, describe what you are doing. For example, "I am making breakfast. I am brushing my teeth. I am going to work." Second, try thinking aloud while doing simple tasks. For example, when cooking, cleaning, or walking, describe your actions in English. This helps your brain practice English naturally. Third, label things around your house in English. Every time you see an object, think its English name. For example, this is a chair, that is a door. I am sitting on the chair. Finally, try imagining short conversations in English. Pretend you are talking to a friend or ordering food. Speak the sentences in your mind or aloud. Doing these mini exercises every day, even for a few minutes, will help your brain start thinking in English automatically. Consistency is the key. Small steps every day bring big results. As you train your brain to think in English, you may face some common challenges, and that's completely normal. Let's talk about them and how to overcome them. The first challenge is the habit of translating. Many learners think in their own language first, then translate into English. This can slow you down. The solution is to practice thinking directly in English, even with simple sentences. Start small and your brain will get used to it. The second challenge is fear of making mistakes. Some learners hesitate to think or speak in English because they worry about errors. Remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Every mistake helps your brain improve. The third challenge is mental blocks or forgetting words. This happens to everyone. The solution is to keep practicing daily and use the words you know in simple sentences. Over time, your vocabulary will grow naturally. Finally, the most important thing is patience and consistency. Thinking in English does not happen overnight. With regular practice, your brain will slowly start to think in English automatically, and speaking will become easier and more natural. Before we finish, I want to share some motivation and final advice with you. Training your brain to think in English is a journey. It takes time, practice, and patience. You may feel slow at first, and that's completely normal. Remember, every small effort counts. Even thinking one sentence in English a day is a step forward. The key is consistency. Try to practice a little every day. Speak, listen, read, or write in English. Over time, you will notice your brain starting to think in English naturally, and speaking will become easier and more confident. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep moving forward. Finally, believe in yourself. Your brain is capable of learning, adapting, and thinking in English. With regular practice, patience, and the techniques we discussed today, you can achieve it. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and enjoy the journey of learning English. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you found these tips helpful and easy to use. Remember, training your brain to think in English takes practice, patience, and consistency, but with small daily steps, you can do it. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss a new episode. Also, like and share this podcast with your friends who are learning English. It might help them as much as it helps you. I would love to hear from you. Try the exercises we discussed today and share your experience in the comments or on social media. Your progress is inspiring, and sharing it can motivate others too. Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, And remember, every small step brings you closer to fluency. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.